All right, let's look at the homework 7, problem number 12. All right, so we want to find the inflection points of this given function here. All right, so let's do that. All right, so in order to find inflection points, we need to find second derivative. So let's take the derivative twice. All right, so you have f prime of x is equal to, right, put 5/3 in front, x, and subtract 1 from the power, so it's going to be 2/3, right? And then derivative of 3 is 0, since 3 is a constant, right? So that's the first derivative. So let's take another derivative, right? So f double prime of x is equal to, right, so I'm going to put the 5/3 in front, just constant multiple, right? Power rule, so put power in front, 2/3, x, and subtract 1 from the power, so negative 1/3, right? So if you clean this up, you're going to get, let's see, 5 times 2 on top, so that's 10. Right, so that takes care of 5 and 2. Right, and 3 and 3, so 3 times 3 is 9, so that's going to be 9 here. All right, so you have a negative power, so x is going to be sitting in the denominator, so put x here. All right, then you have a 1/3 power is equivalent to, you can put a 1/3 power there too, but I'm going to put the cube root there. All right. All right, so if we want to set this equal to 0, but you can see that the numerator is never 0, so this is never 0, all right? But we know that here, f double prime of when x is 0, the denominator becomes 0, which means that the f double prime is not defined. So f double prime of 0 is undefined. All right, so which means that when you do a number line, right? So number line to examine the concavity, so you have x, and I'm going to put a tick mark for 0, right? And we know that f double prime at x equals 0 is undefined. So I'm going to just put the UD for undefined. All right, then we're going to look at the sign. So I'm going to use the sample number, any number less than 0. So I'm going to try x equals -1, right? And if you plug in -1 into the second derivative, so I'm looking at this guy right here. All right, so top is positive. Cube root of -1 is still -1 times 9 is negative. So positive divided by negative is going to be negative. So you have a negative second derivative here. All right, so I'm going to try any number bigger than 0. So I'll try 1. If you plug in 1 into the second derivative, you can see that it's going to be positive. Everything is positive. All right. So you can see that here, if you look at the concavity on this interval before 0, so a negative second derivative indicates that you're going to have concave downward. Right? After 0, you're going to have a concave upward. Right? Which means that you're going to have a concavity change at 0. So we know that at this point, you're going to have an inflection point, right? So we're going to find the corresponding y value. So we're going to plug in 0 into the original function, and which is easy to compute. 0 to the 5/3 is 0, so it's going to be just 3. Right? So 0, 0, 3 would be the inflection point. Right? So let's type it in. All right, so we got the, let's see, inflection points are, there's only one point, 0, 3. All right, let's check the answer. Got that. All right, that's it. I hope that this was clear.